Hello and welcome to our fourth and last Advent reflection for 2021. Following from my first three talks, I hope you're starting to grasp the humanity of the Holy Family. We can look at this story as a gentle tale from the past, a fairy story or a folk tale. Some friends of ours told their very small children that Santa wasn't real because they didn't want the story of Jesus to get lumped alongside the other stories they heard. I'm not sure I agree with their method, but I can understand why they did it. But if we sit a while with this story and allow its humanity to come through, there is a truly astounding claim that I think we've become immune to. In rural, humble first century town, into a humble first century family, into the nascent relationship of an engaged couple, into the body of a teenage girl, God chose to be made flesh and bone. God didn't come in power, or as a grown-up, or to a city, or as a king. God became divided cells, an embryo, a fetus, a baby, just like you and I did. Jesus didn't pop out as a mini-man like some of the medieval paintings show him. He was vulnerable and weak and reliant on his mum and dad, as any of us are. I've been sorting out and scanning some old photos of ours. Each of our children started out that way, and I'm still awed by the very ordinary way babies grow up to be adult humans. Maybe I'm just a bit soft, but the obvious sometimes hits me like that. The little child that I could hold in the palm of my hand almost is an adult navigating his and her own problems and independently doing their thing. But there was a time when they needed us to do everything. We couldn't leave them for a minute, had to plan and watch for danger and disease, had to feed them, clean them, teach and nurture them. God experienced all of that for himself. Mary and Joseph did that for God. There was a time when Jesus went back to his hometown, and those who'd known him since he was a boy said, well, he can't be that special. We watched him grow up. And there's plenty in the world today who probably dismiss the story because it's either confounding that a baby could be God, or that God was a baby, or that any God would do such a thing. Atheists, agnostics and doubters may find the story unbelievable. But that's the claim. That when everything was ready, the moment God had been waiting for was here at last. God was coming to help his people, just as he promised in the beginning. But how would he come? What would he be like? What would he do? Mountains would have bowed down, seas would have roared, trees would have clapped their hands, but the earth held its breath. As silent as falling snow, he came in. And when no one was looking, in the darkness, he came. Each year we tell the story. As I said at our carol service, in the darkest of winter we light lights and remember the story. We retell it. Because we need to remember each year how staggering the claim is. Not because it's unbelievable or improbable, because it's so audacious. God would come and see, come and be, come and experience this limitedness for himself as a baby. So our prayer today isn't with words. If you're able tonight on Christmas Eve, take a glass and a tea light or a candle that's safe to leave, and just before you go to bed, light the candle and then turn off all the lights and watch the small flickering light. Allow time for your eyes to adjust and see how much illumination one small light can bring. And remember God's audacious plan to step into humanity as a baby.